told you guys before that I grew up in the church, and I remember a lot of things about going to church, growing up in the church. My grandmother sang in the choir, all these types of things. I went to Sunday school. I went to Bible study. I did the whole thing. Okay. And some of you watching probably did too. So I went through all of that. One of the things that I have taken issue with is I don't like how the church went from this is a place where you're supposed to come as you are, and then you can hear the word of God. And the church was helping people in the community. Like back in the day, churches were really about that, like helping people in the community. If you needed help, I remember they helped like a family like pay for their mortgage. I remember there was another family that was one of the parents was laid off and they helped them get a job. Like this is what churches really used to be about. And over the years, I noticed that some of these pastors decided to become rich and famous off of being a pastor. And they are pastors of a lot of these mega churches, and they've made a lot of money. T.D. Jakes is one of them. Joel Osteen is one of them. They sell books, they're on TV, etc. And so it's like it went from giving back to the community and this being an open door with open arms to let me see how much money I can make. And that happened recently with pastor and gospel singer Marvin Sapp. Now, I've seen some things, but I never saw anything like this. This is the lowest of the low. So when I saw this, I said, what's really going on? Get this, guys. Marvin Sapp instructs ushers to close church doors until the congregation ponies up $40,000. This is not a joke. This is not a comedy set. I am dead serious. This happened. And that is Marvin Sapp for those who are not aware. Let's get into this. Marvin Sapp's $40,000 goal has social media questioning the integrity of his church. In an undated clip circulating online, the 58-year-old instructed ushers to close the doors of his church, demanding both online and in-person worshipers give $20 to reach the high dollar total before leaving service. Let's pause here for just a second. So typically the way that this works for those who did not grow up in the church like I did, typically the way that this works is that when you go to church on Sunday, there's a collection plate that comes around throughout the congregation, and you're supposed to donate your tithe. Now, the tithe is supposed to be like 10% of what you make, but honestly, a lot of times you throw in like $1, you throw in what you have, what you can give. And there shouldn't be pressure to do that. No one should be pressured to give something they don't have. It is not policy for you to donate money in the collection plate because you attended a church service. That's not policy. It's not standard. It's not required. But the idea is that you want to give back. And this is the money that's supposed to go to the church and all this types of stuff. Now, that being said, there have been times when I have been in a church service as an adult in my early 20s, where the pastor tried to shame people for not putting money in the collection plate. First of all, when people come through the doors, you don't know what they coming from, what type of situation that they're in. You don't know how much money that they have in their pocket. Someone could be coming right off the street and they just need to hear a message that maybe could, I don't know, give them some type of hope or maybe hopefully change their life. Like I said, churches used to give back and put into the community. But now a lot of these churches, especially those mega churches, these pastors are trying to find ways to make all this money instead of them putting that money back out into the community. So you don't know what someone's financial situation is. And to pressure people to put money in the church, that made me feel some kind of way. Like for the pastor to get up there and say, well, you need to donate this money, or, God's not going to like it if you walk out of here and you don't put money in the plate. And I remember sitting there saying to myself, like, really? Like, what is this? You know what I mean? So, or the stares that you get from people. And if you guys have grown up, you know what I'm talking about. There's sometimes people would stare at you as they're handing you the plate. And it's like they're looking and waiting to see if you put something in. And then if you don't put something in, then they just kind of look at you like what is this? What have these churches become? Let's go back into this article here. I'll get into what he said in a second because I'm going to play the video. But what he's basically said was, close the doors. We all going to leave together. And again, that's Marvin Sapp. Oh, boy, boy, boy. You can see here's a tweet. Marvin Sapp is clearly hustling his congregation for $40,000 and using God's name to do it. He's calling for the doors to be locked. That's not faith. That's a shakedown and a false prophet. Someone had a bill to pay and it wasn't the church. You can see here's a comment here. Did I just see a video of Marvin Sapp telling ushers to close the doors and no one could leave until everyone sowed a seed totaling $40,000? What is happening? The usher who shared one of the most viral posts of the incident on X uploaded the video with the caption, Marvin Sapp is clearly hustling his congregation for $40,000 and using God's name to do it. He's calling for the doors to be locked. That's not faith. That's a shakedown and a false prophet. Someone had to pay the bill. Like, I thought he was just a singer. Black churches need to stand up against mess like this. They be sitting down and unhun, knowing this is BS. They added in the replies. Other who shared and responded to the post had a similar reaction. Rico the Kin said, I promise I would have called the police and screamed, I'm being kidnapped. So let's talk about something here. And it's not just a problem with the Black church. Like I said, I mentioned Joel Osteen as well. There's been controversies with his church where he didn't want to open up the doors during Hurricane Katrina, right? No, I don't want to bring them in here. Oh, God, right? There's a lot of money to be made when it comes to religion if you do it right. And this is something I think sometimes people may not understand. When I was growing up, I remember my mom, she used to watch like these televangelists like on TV sometimes. And then you'd hear stories years later that this guy was like a con artist and he got all this money from people, but he was a pastor and he conned a lot of people out of the money. Let me give you a little bit of a tip, fam. If you go to the church, right, and everybody else in the congregation, pretty much working class, doing their best that they can do. But the pastor show up and he driving a brand new car with fancy rims and he got on a gold watch and he have on nice jewelry and he wearing an expensive suit. What's really going on? Where's the money really going? Because that's what people like TD Jakes has been able to do. That's what people like Joel Osteen has been able to do. Don't forget about Creflo Dollar. Creflo Dollar at one point had his own jet. Now, are these guys preaching the word of God? Or are they just trying to make money? Anytime you're sitting in the congregation and you look up and the pastor got all this, pastor has a really nice big house, fancy car, nice rims, bling, bling, jewelry. Pastor's kids get to go to private school and you and your kids have to have reduced lunch or free school lunch. Something ain't right. Because like I said before, the church is supposed to give back to the community. It shouldn't really be the other way around where these pastors are living this way. Now I'm going to show you this video and you let me know how you feel, because couldn't have been me. Because the moment he said lock those doors, could not have been me. Now, this is Marvin Sapp. Listen to this.
And they understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said, close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors.
Close the doors, he says. You know, close the doors. In the words of Marvin Gaye, what is going on? Close the doors, he tells the ushers. I'll be damned. You can close that door all you want to. If I want to get up and walk out, I'm walking out. This is kind of like his way of holding people hostage. Close the doors. Close the doors. Nobody leave until each one of you guys give me a 20. How many of you still carry cash? Because I don't. What would he have said to me? You can't leave until you donate $20. I'm like, man, if you don't get out my damn face. He probably would have said, God don't like ugly. I was like, God don't like people being kidnapped either. Listen to this.
We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 seed. I just think $20 is a lot of money. $20, believe it or not, when my late wife Melinda P. Sapp was alive, was a good date. I could take her to the movies, buy a box of popcorn, get 1 soda, 2 straws. I wasn't cheap, that's swag. I was looking in her eyes, she's looking in mine. Can't do that no more. Now, everyone up here, we've all sold and seeded, but I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100. Because again, it costs to sit up here. I got you.
It costs to sit up there. So all the people sitting up on the stage, he was like, it costs money for you to sit up here. What is this? What is this?
Let's see. So put your 20 away, preachers. That 20 wasn't for you. And this is what I need you to do. If you're giving electronically, or even if you're giving tangibly, I'm gonna have y'all come to the altar and give it, because I need to see 1,000 people moving.
So now you got to come to the altar to show him that you're actually donating money. What the hell is this? That doesn't seem godly like to me. I don't think Jesus would like that. What is happening here? This is a hustle. Close the doors. Give me your money. If you're paying electronically, you got to come up here because I want to see that you're actually doing it. For what? No.
Bring them baskets. I want the baskets up here. I want to see the folk. Y'all start moving. Y'all can bring it right now. Come. Even if you're giving tangibly, just put your hand on take your phone and stick it on the bucket. Shh. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. Giving is.
See, that's the other thing too. Giving is worship. So if you're not giving, you're not worshiping. JB says this is a class issue when the class war heads of churches are on the side of the oppressor class.
It's worship. This ain't the time to talk. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people online need to give $20. This is easy, saints.
Easy for who? See, this is what I was talking about, and we can bring up the class issue here too. Sometimes people think when we mention class, some people think, oh, okay, well, we're talking about that on a going across all races, right? And sometimes we do when we talk about class, but there's also classism within the Black community as well. Like, how do you know everybody has $20 that they can donate? How do you know everybody that's leaving the church is going to the restaurant? When I went to the church when I was growing up, we went home. You know why? Because my mom made Sunday dinner. We didn't go out to eat like that, like when I was growing up. If we went out to eat, that was like a treat. But like my parents didn't spend money like that. So how do you know, Marvin? How do you know everybody got $20 that they can just give? I remember my grandma used to give her last. My grandma never missed a tithe. And my grandma lived in the projects in Baltimore, Maryland. My grandma, I know sometimes was struggling to pay the light bill. She didn't retire. My grandma worked until the day that she died. She couldn't afford to retire. Some of us can't. And I remember saying, like, Grandma, if you don't have it, you don't have to give it. If you ain't got it like that, you don't have to give it. And she's like, no, God wouldn't like that. And you give, and that's how you get back. And I just remember watching like my grandma just work her ass off. And my grandma got nothing in return. And I think about like when my grandma died, where were all the people at the church? All those Sundays when she was singing on the choir, I thought to myself, like, where are all the people from the church? Why all y'all ain't at the funeral? After my grandma, everything that she did, like she gave her last, man. Most of them were nowhere to be found. Pastor got paid though. We can't continue to let this type of thing happen. We really can't. Like this really is a class issue.
This is an easy miracle. We should be able to raise $40,000 tonight just from y'all giving. That's it.
You know what is sad about this too? I'm thinking about that $40,000 and I'm thinking about how that money could have went to mutual aid. That's what I'm thinking about. Could have paid rent, helped some people pay the rent. But I'm just like, that's ridiculous. You don't lock people in. You don't demand that they give $20 each. People are free to come and leave as they want to. But what has happened to the church? What's going on? Church is supposed to be a place of worship. But from what I've seen over the years, church has become a business. And some people will see this and they'll say, well, those pastors have a right to do this and that if they want to. If they want to write a book, they can. Yeah, they can write a book if they want to and all those types of things. But if I'm looking around and I'm seeing that the pastor got all this stuff and the people in the congregation are struggling to put money in the collection plate, that don't seem even to me. That doesn't seem level. It just don't. Call me crazy. Sorry, but something ain't right. So a lot of people are talking about that clip right now. And I don't know. I think Marvin Sapp has some explaining to do. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.